The numbers are in on Wisconsin home sales and selling prices. We'll have the details. Plus, an historic landmark is restored in Baraboo. Stay tuned. Your real estate news starts now. Thank you for watching your real estate news. I'm your host, Stacy Hansen. Let's take a look at your headlines. The sales of existing Wisconsin homes grew rapidly in January, according to the Wisconsin Realtors Association. That is in turn putting strong upward pressure on home prices. Home sales in January jumped 10.4% over that same time last year. Statewide median prices also surged more than 10% above January of 2015. The median home price in Wisconsin is now $148,700. While every region in the state saw home sales grow over the last year, the most robust sales growth occurred in the northeast region of Wisconsin, which increased over 17%, and the west region, which grew over 16%. Inventories of homes for sale, however, have dropped to less than 37,000 unsold homes in January. That's the lowest level recorded since the WRA began tracking inventory levels in 2009. The refurbished Al Ringling Theater celebrated its grand opening in downtown Baraboo at the end of February. The century-old playhouse underwent a 7-month, $3.1 million restoration campaign, according to the Baraboo News Republic. Frank Sinatra Jr. headlined a sold-out event to celebrate the grand reopening. The theater was originally built in 1915 by one of the Circus Ringling brothers for $100,000. You can check out upcoming events at the theater by going to their website at alringling.com. The new year is upon us, and HGTV has offered up some suggestions for resolutions for your home. They recommend starting with a purge and declutter. They cited Marie Kondo's popular book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, which recommends getting rid of everything that does not spark joy or is currently useful. Deep cleaning and creating an organization system in your closets will be easier once you get rid of superfluous items. HGTV also suggests that the new year might be a great time to ensure that your home is as safe as it can be. Replace the batteries in your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors and place fire extinguishers strategically throughout your home. Create a disaster kit and maybe even add a security system to your home as well. HGTV also suggests looking at ways to make your home more eco-friendly this new year, which could be as simple as switching out all your light bulbs to energy-efficient models. U.S. News and World Report went in search of the best high-paying jobs in every state, and the consensus is that it pays to go into the medical field. The media company's annual Best Jobs rankings determined the 100 best jobs in the country based on factors like salary, work-life balance, stress level, and job growth. In Wisconsin, it's surgeons that have the best high-paying job. They earn an average of $240,000. Nationwide, the two best occupations in America overall are orthodontist and dentist. In all 50 states, a job in healthcare is the highest paying. Those jobs all have average salaries of more than $150,000, according to data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Stay tuned, we have more coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Diane Holmes. She's a realtor at RE/MAX Preferred and one of our news partners. Welcome back, Diane. Great to have you here again.
Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate you having me back.
Absolutely.
So for the people who don't know me, I'm Diane Holmes with RE/MAX, as Stacy said, and I've been selling real estate for 25 years. I work with buyers and sellers, and I've sold over 1,000 homes. And during the last segment, we talked about how to buy a home, and I thought during this segment, we'd talk about how to get your home sold.
That's a great idea. So if you are thinking about it, where do you even begin?
Well, of course, the first step is to call your realtor. So that we can get together and discuss your plans and the timing. The timing is crucial, depending if you're going to be purchasing another home or if you're going to be relocating out of the area. I would determine a price at that time by preparing a market study on your home, which compares all the features of your current home with the other homes that have sold in your neighborhood recently, usually within the past 6 months. Then also I prepare a net sheet, which is important to you to find out what you will receive in the form of a check at closing. And so I get all of your seller's costs, which includes the commission and title work and your current mortgage on the home, and I'll let you know what to expect approximately at the time of closing.
Okay, so that's very good information, but what if your home needs some repairs before you put on the market?
Yeah, and right. So the next thing we do is prepare your home for sale. I set up a free pre-listing home inspection, and if necessary, I coordinate the contractor, the painters, a stager, and we get your home in the best possible condition that we can. Not only just to get the best price, of course, but also so there's no surprises when a buyer brings their inspector through later on. Next, I order the photographer, the videographer. I put your home on the MLS listing service, which has over 1,300 realtors, and they can match up that listing with any buyers that they may be working with at the time. Also, it goes on over 900 websites, and we can even advertise your home here on the CW channel.
That's great.
Right, then the showings start, and always with your knowledge and permission.
So what happens once you get an offer? Everything's gone well, then what happens?
Well, right, so then we get the offer, and you have the right to accept it, reject it, or counter it. And normally we go through all the terms of the offer, and we usually end up countering the offer. And then we come to terms where it's acceptable to both parties. And at that point, I monitor the contingencies, get you through the inspection, which should go very smoothly. And I set up the closing, I set up the title work for you, and we meet at the closing company to surrender your keys of your old home, and you receive the net, the check at closing.
Very exciting. So I have to ask you, what's the best time of year to sell?
Oh, that's a really good question. So normally for a seller, it's March, April, and May are traditionally the very best months to sell. The sellers get the highest price. But if you do need to sell during the winter time, just be aware that there's a lot of companies who have relocation during that period, and there are some sales that take place. Generally, the higher dollar homes will sell over the winter.
Well, thanks so much, Diana. It was great to see you again.
Oh, you too, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Sure, and you stay tuned. We'll have more coming up right after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate News. With me now is Brian Pitch. He's a branch manager at American Lending Solutions. Welcome, Brian.
Hi, Stacy. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Good to have you back. Let's talk about home buyers out there that are looking for financing.
Absolutely.
What do you see from your perspective that is the biggest need for them?
Well, right now, home buyers, people who are looking for financing for mortgage, there's a couple things that are really important. There are a lot of people that are making cash offers. It's a really competitive market right now because there haven't been a lot of properties on the market. So people who are obtaining financing is a couple different things. One, it's really important to do it really quick. So you want to find a lender that can get you pre-approved fairly quickly in an effort to be competitive if you're going to be making an offer on a house. And the second thing is just to pick the right lender in terms of what type of financing you're looking for, what your goals and needs are.
So talking about then choosing the right lender, let's talk about American Lending Solutions. What would you say sets you apart? Why would someone choose your company over another?
Well, American Lending Solutions, we're a private mortgage banking company. We do our own lending. We're FHA approved in terms of our underwriting, so we do our own federally insured loans. We're a smaller company, we're light on our feet, we're able to move fast, we're really flexible, we can make adjustments throughout the loan process. What you also get with American Lending Solutions is you get more individual attention from the loan officer that you're working with. What we try to pride ourselves in is taking on an advisory role. So in other words, making sure that our clients, our borrowers really understand every step of the lending process, as opposed to someone that is just kind of telling you not to worry about it. I'll get back to you in a week once I get this stuff figured out. So My loan officers are typically making contact with people on a daily basis throughout the process so that they're understanding every step of the way of what's happening.
And that's got to be so reassuring for the buyers too, just to know that they're in the loop on things and they actually know what's going on.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
wonderful.
I mean, the mortgage, the home buying process it can be somewhat challenging for people just because you're putting a lot of effort into what it is that you're trying to do, and quite frankly, I mean, there can be some anxiety involved, and so homeowners really want to be able to, feel confident in the people that they're working with that are handling the financing for them.
So what about some lending programs then that you might offer that people might not be aware of?
Well, a lot of folks are, not aware that there are loan programs out there that are allowing people to bring, less than 20% in terms of a down payment. There are quite a few people now in the economy that are doing well because of the economy's picking up. They're ready to jump in the home ownership market, but they may not have that 20% saved up. Federally insured loans are a great way to do that. People also don't know that there are rehabilitation loans or construction loans. So in other words, people can buy properties right now and that may have enough money for a down payment, but they don't have $20,000 to put into improvements. We can finance that through the proceeds of a loan for folks that are basically have found a fixer-upper in a neighborhood that they like.
Those are some great options for people. There's really quite a bit out there. That's wonderful. Well, thanks so much for stopping by again today. Great information.
Thanks, Stacy. It was great being here.
And stay tuned. We have more coming up. And welcome back. With me now is Bill Quigley. He's the branch manager at Network Funding. Welcome, Bill. So I see that you have services that are helping homeowners prepare for and just plain understand the home financing process. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about that?
Happy to, Stacy. What I encourage people to do when they're looking for a home is the first thing they do is go to my website, madtownmortgage.com, apply for a home loan. Once you apply for the loan, I will actually underwrite you for all the different programs that you are eligible for. I will then prepare an analysis where I compare each mortgage program side by side. We then like to share that analysis with your real estate agent because they need to see what types of financing that you're eligible for as well. When you look at each financing program side by side, you get a real clear picture of how the mortgage program works, how it compares to another mortgage program. So when you find that dream home, you can walk in with confidence that you can purchase that home, you know exactly how the financing works, and there aren't going to be any surprises for you. That also actually helps us close quite a bit faster as well. Many lenders in today's environment, it takes 45 to 60 days for them to close. We can close within 30 days or less.
Well, that's wonderful. That means everything to be able to close faster.
Yes.
A lot of times. Now, I also heard that you are a member of the Home Buyers Roundtable. Can you tell us about that?
The Home Buyers Roundtable is a great organization. It's a group of professionals, including lenders, real estate professionals, city officials, and other organizations. Our goal is to help the low to mid-income home buyer actually purchase a home. This segment of the population feels like they're priced out of the market right now, and it's impossible to save up for a down payment. We provide services and classes for first-time home buyers that teach them about the home buying process, get them ready for home buying, and once they are complete with the class, they are eligible for down payment assistance. We then guide them through the home buying process, helping them find the right financing, the right home, so they can enter home ownership confidently and successfully.
What a great service, too, to educate people. That's so wonderful. It gives you so much more confidence, again. Now, what about home buyers that want to purchase a home that they know they're going to want to remodel it right off the bat? Do you have some options along those lines?
We have a great option for that, actually several. In today's market, inventory is tight. It's hard to find that perfect home. I encourage people, if you find a home that's in a nice neighborhood, a nice lot that has potential, take a look at purchasing that home and then incorporating into that home financing package sufficient funds to remodel the home, to make it exactly what you want. We have several programs where you can purchase the home, get a contractor's bid on improvements that you want to do. Maybe it's a new kitchen, master bathroom, you want to add a bedroom, finish the basement, whatever the improvements are. We incorporate the monies for those improvements into your financing. So you close once up front, do all the improvements and move in. You don't have to worry about getting secondary financing, a home equity line, or a construction loan later. Everything's taken care of upfront in advance at today's low interest rates, and you get exactly the home that you want.
That's wonderful. Now, kind of changing topics a little bit, there's concern right now about some rising mortgage rates. Where do you see them going?
I haven't been concerned with rising mortgage interest rates for a little while. There are so many forces going on in the marketplace and the worldwide economy centering on oil that are pushing interest rates down. Other economies that are dependent upon oil and dependent upon those economies are in somewhat of a deflationary cycle. Monies from those economies are coming to our markets and they're buying treasury bills and mortgage-backed securities. The more money that flows into our economy and buying those securities, our interest rates will be staying stable or even possibly go a little bit lower into the future. I'm not concerned about interest rates rising for quite some time.
That's good to know. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today. Lots of wonderful information.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you.
And stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate News. My next guest is Savannah Howglid with Century 21. Welcome back, Savannah.
Thank you.
So spring is coming up fast, and historically buyers get more serious about purchasing a home that time of year. So for those of our viewers out there that are thinking about that, what can they do to prepare from your perspective?
Well, first off, getting your credit in order, because as the old rule still applies, the higher your credit score, the lower your monthly payment will be. If you have a credit score that is above 700, you're going to get a very good deal, but if it's above 750, you're going to get the best rates on the market. Second, you should be doing this already, but building up your savings account with each paycheck. A good rule of thumb is, on average, you will likely spend 2.5% to 3% of your home's value each year on upkeep, repairs, and maintenance. Third, many first-time homebuyers are currently renting, so it is advised to revisit your lease agreement and learn about the penalties for breaking those or breaking your lease. Lastly, it is important to talk with your lender and get pre-approved so that you know the price range before you see the homes in person.
That's good sound advice too. You definitely want to know what that price range is before you fall in love with something that's way out of your range. So a lot of people start this search online, and you're saying it's important to get pre-approved before they go out and start looking. Now, why do you say that?
Well, the home buying process does not begin with home searching. Unless you're sitting on a big pile of money and you can pay for it all in cash, I would recommend getting a mortgage. But the pre-approval process is much more extensive than it was a few years ago, and it is important to get all that figured out before you actually walk through the first door of that first home. You know, I always say, picture this. If you go to an open house and you haven't talked to a lender or maybe not even a real estate agent, and you fall in love with the house, and maybe there's an offer that's put on the table right then and there, and you're devastated because you are in love with this house and you aren't prepared because you don't have the proper pre-approval and you don't know who to go to for putting an offer in. One way to be ready is to call me at the number below, and we will set up a buyer meeting and we will go over the process so that you are well on your way to purchasing your next home.
Great idea to have that meeting too, just to get prepared. Now let's talk just a little bit about, you have a great online presence too, you have an app too. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so if you go to your online mobile store and search Home Scouting, you can find our app and just make sure you type in our VIP code of 2121, and then you will be directed to our personalized app. And that way you won't be getting any other realtors or lenders, calling you and emailing you, trying to get you to get their business. And that way it will be either myself or Kirsten helping you, and we will personalize each thing for you.
And that is worth so much there too,
Yes.
just to know that your information isn't being sold and you're just getting contacted directly by you too. So
Yes.
That's great. Well, thanks so much for stopping by today. Lots of great information.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.
And you stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this. And welcome back. Next up is Josh Lavick. He's a real estate agent with Keller Williams. Welcome back, Josh. Nice to have you here again.
Hey, thanks, Stacy. How are you doing today?
Oh, not too bad, but it's cold right now. We're in the
Yep.
thick of February. But believe it or not, lots of folks are considering a move this spring and even summer. Can't wait. Now, I'm hoping you could review the steps again for all of those folks to prepare them for selling a home.
Yeah, no, certainly this time of year, a lot of conversations I'm having, people getting ready to sell their house. So one of the first things I usually recommend to people are, both cleaning and decluttering. So, selling a house is really psychological. So we're trying to, get at when potential home buyers walk through the door, we want that checklist of all of the positive things going through their mind in order to sell that home for top dollar. Otherwise, if you don't, it's kind of like if you were trying to sell a car, you would want to get it cleaned out as much as possible to get top dollar, right? Same kind of thing. So, get the carpets cleaned, eliminate any odors. We're going for neutral smell here, don't overpower it with the air fresheners, okay? So, that kind of thing. Remove excess furniture. Think about, 2 or 3 people walking around the house at a time, take down some of those family photos and other personal collections. Again, we want the buyers to visualize their own stuff in the house rather than just your stuff. So.
Great tips. So
Yeah.
I'm one of those rare people that actually really likes cleaning and decluttering, but I know
perfect.
I'm rare. Not everyone does. What would you recommend to somebody that doesn't want to do it themselves? Do you have recommendations for people?
Yeah, actually, we work with a number of people, vendors, other cleaning people, repair people, all kinds of different people that we often recommend to our clients that we've had a good track record with. So if you need help with that, absolutely, we're happy to help.
Okay, so let's say they've got all that done, then what comes next?
Well, of course, then you want to do any of those minor repairs, right? So if during that cleaning and decluttering process, you're probably going to find, that old caulk sitting in the bathtub that is like kind of gross looking, that needs to be fixed for sure. Burned out light bulbs, if it's a cheap fix or something like that, you're better off fixing it ahead of time because otherwise a buyer's probably going to come in and they're going to estimate the cost of it being a lot higher than you could probably fix it yourself.
So what about the outside of the house then?
Well, outside, of course, is definitely important. Curb appeal, matters when people first walk up to the house and how it looks. One of the things I usually recommend is, definitely if there's any painting that needs to be done of the exterior trim and that kind of thing, the shutters. Actually, one thing is power wash in the house might be a good idea too. In fact, part of our client appreciation program, we've got a free power washer for you to use. So if you choose us to help you sell your house, we got a power washer for you.
Wow, that's a great service to have. Well, thanks so much. These are all awesome tips. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And stay tuned. We have more coming up right after this.
Yeah.
For all of us here, I want to thank our guests for their time today and also thank you for tuning in to your real estate news. I'm Stacy Hansen. We'll see you next time.